Long ago, in a time when magic still wandered through quiet villages, there lived a poor young maid named Julie. She served a greedy farmer and his equally miserly wife. Because Julie was an orphan with no family to defend her, the farmer forced her to do all the chores that should have been shared among several workers. She rose before dawn, worked until the last trace of daylight faded, and obeyed every harsh order given to her. One evening, exhausted from the long day, Julie stepped into the barn to milk the cows. As she placed her bucket on the ground, she heard a strange, soft rustling coming from the corner. Startled, she turned her head and saw something glimmering faintly in the darkness. A serpent, elegant and shimmering, slid forward, and on its head rested a tiny golden crown. Julie froze. The crowned serpent was unlike anything she had ever seen, yet it did not threaten her. Instead, it looked at her milk bucket with an expression that seemed almost pleading. "You must be thirsty, aren't you?" Julie whispered. She tilted the bucket toward the serpent. The creature glided closer and began to drink, and it drank so much that Julie felt certain she would be punished for returning with far too little milk. But when the serpent finished and Julie looked down, her eyes widened in disbelief. The bucket, instead of being emptied, was now fuller than before, as though the milk had magically multiplied. Even the farmer's wife, always strict and suspicious, was satisfied when Julie brought the milk inside. From that day on, the crowned serpent returned every morning and every evening. Julie offered it milk, and each time the milk in the bucket replenished itself with a little extra. The cows grew healthier, the milk richer, and the barn became a place Julie entered without fear, even with a touch of secret joy. Years passed, and Julie grew into a graceful young woman whose gentle nature shone despite her harsh life. One spring day, she met John, a kind-hearted carpenter's apprentice from the nearby village. John admired her strength and goodness, and Julie found in him the warmth and affection she had never known. Their bond grew until John asked her to marry him. Julie accepted with a heart full of hope. Though the farmer grumbled at losing her labor, the villagers rejoiced, and soon the wedding day arrived. During the lively celebration, filled with laughter, music, and the scent of roasted food, a sudden hush swept through the crowd. The crowned serpent appeared, sliding quietly between the guests. People stepped back in fear, but Julie felt no alarm. She recognized her silent companion. The serpent approached her, lifted its head, and let the tiny golden crown fall at her feet. Then, with a graceful turn, it slipped away into the grass and never returned. Julie picked up the crown and placed it gently in her small coin pouch. At that moment, she felt a warm pulse travel through the leather. The next day, when she reached into the pouch to pay for flour, she discovered the coins she had spent were back and not only restored but increased. The magical gift of the Serpent King had followed her into her new life. Julie and John used this blessing wisely. They built a loving home, raised children in happiness, and never suffered poverty again. Julie, once a lonely servant girl, lived the rest of her days surrounded by kindness, comfort, and the quiet blessing of the mysterious serpent who had repaid her compassion with lifelong fortune.